Good evening, friends and family. I'm Dave. This is Pius Talk. Tonight, we have a couple of special guests, one here with me and one here far, far away, Davenport, Iowa. We have Maria Delsing, whom you met before, and we have Sister Lynn Mousel in Davenport, and they are representing the Sisters of Humility. So let's get started right away. So Sister Lynn, again, welcome. Glad you could be with us this evening. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and please tell us a little bit about the Sisters of Humility.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. So as you mentioned, I'm in Davenport, Iowa, and I started the process of formation with the Sisters of Humility back in 2004, and I took my first vows in 2007. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of this wonderful community. And it's been just a very interesting journey so far. I had trained as a psychiatrist and with specializing in child psychiatry before I entered the community. So I continued that as my ministry for a number of years. And then the last few years I've been in Davenport, and my ministry has been with the community. I'm on our leadership team, and I work with our associates. You'll be hearing more about that. And work with our any women who are interested in joining us as sisters.
Okay. So, pardon my ignorance, what do the Sisters of Humility do?
Well, we really do a variety of things. I would say we're really called to listen to the Spirit and the signs of the times. And of course, with Mary as our model. And some of the things that we really focus on are caring for those living in poverty or all different kinds of needs in the world, and also care of earth.
And how specifically do you do that? Give a couple of examples if you don't mind.
Sure. Right now we have two ministries that are sponsored by the community. So one is Humility Homes and Services, and this is our 30th year of that ministry. It's in Davenport, and there's a variety of services for those experiencing homelessness. There's an overnight shelter, and there's also transitional or longer term housing for people. Our other ministry is with Our Lady of the Prairie Retreat. It's a beautiful retreat center out in the country, not too far from Davenport.
Okay. Well, very good. So, how does one find oneself being drawn to this kind of ministry? What made you decide to go into the sisterhood?
Well, I think it started with, well, I have to give really credit to my parents at the beginning. I was raised Catholic, baptized as an infant, and our Catholic faith was very important to us as a family. And then I got involved in a young adult Catholic group, and this was facilitated by some women that were part of a secular institute, and they took vows very similar to those of sisters. And so that was really the first time I got to know women living that lifestyle, and they just seemed very joyful and at peace. And they encouraged me to develop my prayer life and relationship with God. And that's really how that call to religious life started. And then I ended up in Kentucky doing my training in child psychiatry. And although our community is based in Iowa, I met one of our Sisters of Humility who happened to be in Kentucky. And we hit it off and became good friends. And that's how I got to know the Sisters of Humility.
All right, well, thank you. I'm going to shift just a moment so that Maria doesn't feel left out. Maria, welcome again.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you again.
Good to see you.
So the last time we were together, you mentioned being, or if I say this improperly, please correct me, an associate Sister of Humility.
That is correct.
I got it right.
You
Good.
got it right.
I got it right.
I am an associate.
Shocking. Please explain to that what.
And
Explain to us what that
Lynn is head of our associate program,
Okay.
and I'm on the formation committee, but it's a group of mostly women, but we have some men who want to carry on the charism of the community. And so we have become a part of the community, but we're separate from the community. We do not take vows like the sisters do, but we have invested in the community and believe the direction that they're going. And so we take promises that we renew every 2 or 3 years, depending on when you what. And it started with my wanting a deeper relationship with God, but I didn't know where to turn. And you know, God is so funny. He has so much, he has such a wonderful sense of humor. Well, the sisters were having a huge reunion, and they invited all the former CHM, Sisters of Humility, as well as friends and the sisters to a reunion. And so I went, and got to see a lot of my old friends, because I also am a former Sister of Humility.
I remember you saying.
Yeah, and I left over the wall. And so I got to meet a lot of them, and Sister Rachel was a person who I had made a good friendship with, and she started telling me about the associate program, and I became very interested. And I became an associate in 2005, so shortly after Lynn became associate with it. And it's really interesting because when I went home and I was talking to my mom, and I said, you know, I think I'm going to become an associate sister. And my mother's answer was, you can't go backwards. You've been there, you've done that. You need to go forward. And I said to her, no, there's just something about them that I want to go back. And so I became an associate. And probably 2 months later, my mother said to me, that is the best decision you ever made. And what it was, you know, as a young married woman, 3 kids, stair steps, life became messy. And I kind of lost my path, and I was trying to tell God where I was supposed to go. And I really—
That always works well.
Oh, yes. And so when I went back to the humility, and then I realized, shut up and listen to God and let Him take you on the journey, and you'll have a lot more fun.
Sister Lynn, I have to ask you now,
Mm-hmm.
are you as much a troublemaker as Maria is?
Oh boy. I think that's not so much in my nature as hers.
Okay. That's quite all right. I mean, I was just curious. Your inquiring minds are.
She's a little more proud than I am.
Okay, so 16 years, if I'm doing the math right, 15 years.
Mhm.
And you two have met before.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You like to talk about the journey you've had together?
Oh, well, I can say that I just have really enjoyed knowing Maria. I think that Maria is somebody that's so easy to get to know and is so welcoming. And I just have really enjoyed having her working with our associates. So it's just been a real gift and a pleasure.
Sister Lynn worked very closely with one of our associates who happens to be live in Montana, where Lynn lived for a while, and she's an alcohol syndrome child who has done very well, and Lynn has done a lot of work to help her. She has her own little business making dog biscuits and selling them, and seeing how Lynn works with other people and how she brings out the best in people has always been something that I look to and I truly admire, because she does, and she's a wonderful listener. I need to be a better listener. Lynn is a wonderful listener, and she does hear, and she really cares. She just cares about people.
So Maria, can you talk about some of your activities over the years as an associate sister?
Well, I've been on several different committees. When I first became an associate, I was a computer lab teacher, and we were getting ready for our first web presentation. And so I was put on that committee immediately. And so I helped launch a long time ago, the first one, and chmiowa.org, just get that little plug in there. And then I have been on an associate committee for quite a few years now, and helping with the developing of that program. Also, one of the things is listening to the Spirit. So taking the gifts that God has given us and sharing them is so important. And so one of my gifts is the ability to talk in front of other people. This scares some people to death. And to me, you're just you. And so I don't have a problem with it. So sharing some of my gifts with other people.
And sister, what got you in the direction of coordinating the associates?
Well, I think it really started with a real desire to share about the Sisters of Humility and to share our spirit and mission. And it was just one of those things that, along with the work in vocations, it just opened up. And just at the time that I started, the community had worked on doing some changes to the model of the associate relationship, and making it so to make sure that our associates really connected with the sisters, understood more about our history and spirit and mission, and I was just really excited to be a part of that.
Our associate program is actually a year-long formation program, so it's not just saying, hi, I want to be an associate and I'm an associate today. No, we actually go through a year so you understand what the community is all about, the history, the charism, the spirit, and getting to meet the sisters. And then prayer life is very important. This is a very important part of being an associate. And then sharing of our gifts and caring for the poor, caring for the land, being aware of how we can be committed to others outside of ourselves. I think it's really, and if people are here in Tucson interested in learning more about it, we welcome you. And either you can contact myself or go through our website, chmiowa.org, or you can email me, mariadelsing@yahoo.com. Either way, we would be happy to have you. I've talked to Father, and he is open to us starting a small group down here if we would like. So this is kind of where, and so this is my introduction to let you know a little bit about the associates.
Well, thank you. Well, Maria, again, wonderful to have you with us. Sister Lynn, lovely to meet you. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Oh,
So-
you're very welcome.
Is what the sisters do. And we talked about service, we talked about spirit, and we talked about reaching out to those in need. And, you know, for all of us who are watching who might be interested, you know, we probably all could do a little bit more of that. And you don't have to be necessarily connected to a formal group. Find ways to help those around you. You'd be surprised how much of a difference you can make. Little things matter. Sister Lynn, Maria, again, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Thank you all for being with us tonight. Again, I'm Dave, and this has been Pius Talk.